Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk about a huge piece of news, which has just gone and dropped during the Pokémon Presents, of all places, because you see, ladies and gentlemen, they have actually gone and revealed the Worlds promo, which is weird. Because every year, we are waiting for the first people to actually go and pick up their competitors' kits to then go and share a picture of what the promo actually is. The fact that we're getting this early like this is genuinely awesome and kind of weird and incredibly great. But it's different. And this is weird, ladies and gentlemen. This is incredibly weird because you see, it's not Champions Festival. And it's always Champions Festival. Every year since 2013, it's been Champions Festival. And now they've gone and changed it. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I know why they've changed it. There is a very good reason they've changed it. But first, we should probably see what the card actually is. So the card we're going to be talking about here is Paradise Resort, a brand new promo card we've never had at Worlds before. And firstly, just check out the artwork. Obviously, we're now into Gen 9. This is the first Worlds promo where Gen 9 Pokemon have been featured. So we've got Fuecoco, we've got Sprigatito, we've got Quaxly, we've got Lapras. Lapras is like the Pokemon of Yokohama, so you kind of had to have Lapras on there. You got Pikachu, who, it's Pikachu. You've got a Psyduck. Psyduck, we'll see a few more Worlds promos in a minute. Psyduck is always on the Worlds promo. What is weird here is the Mousehold. Yeah, it's just a Mousehold just kind of chilling over there, which is kind of cool, honestly. But it's not the kind of thing we would usually expect to see, so this is honestly kind of cool. But all the other Pokemon on there make perfect sense. You had to have Lapras on there with the Yokohama Worlds. We always get Pikachu and Psyduck, and it's the first year of Gen 9. The first year of a new gen always has the relevant Pokemon on. It just makes no sense not to. So, for instance, Worlds 2017 was the first year that we could have had the first partner Pokemon from Alola, given, of course, that game came out late 2016, i.e. after Worlds. And yes, they're featured on there. And last year, because of the cancellation from COVID, was actually the first World Championships where we had, the Galar region, where we'd had Gen 8 legal. So we had the first partner Pokemon on there. So again, this all makes perfect sense. But what does it do? The retreat cost of each Psyduck in play, yours and your opponent's, is one colorless energy less. This card is garbage. This is a terrible card. This is basically an unplayable card, and it is absolute rubbish. But that's the point. Yes, this card is garbage. Absolute garbage. But this card is supposed to be garbage. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a little bit of a problem with Worlds promos. Now, when it got really bad was when we had Tropical Beach. Now, there were 2 years for Tropical Beach. It was 2011 and 2012. Delighted to say I qualified for Worlds in 2012, got through the last chance qualifier, got myself a full set of these, which as a European was better because in Europe we can use any European language. In the US they have to use English. In Japan, they have to use Japanese, but in Europe, we actually would get more than a playset by qualifying for Worlds. It was huge. And this was a phenomenal card that let you, once during each player's turn, draw until you got 7 cards in your hand and end your turn. For setup decks and control decks, this card was ridiculous. It was phenomenal. It was a staple in a whole bunch of decks, and the price absolutely skyrocketed. It genuinely became a legitimate problem, having such a good card only available as a Worlds promo. And the fix that Pokemon did in 2013 was they went to Champions Festival. The theory being Champions Festival was not a good card, and therefore would not create the same problems. And we had it starting in 2013, and we had it every year until last year in 2022 in London. Do bear in mind there was no Worlds in 2020 and 2021 because of the whole COVID thing. There were 8 different prints of Champions Festival, including this amazing one, that had a gallery of all the other prints of Champions Festival, which is genuinely awesome, and this one featuring the first partner Pokemon from Kanto. Oh, and this one with a ducklet on. There were some good prints, alright? There were some very good prints. But they printed it year after year, and my theory is, I don't know this for a fact, but my theory is they kept printing it because it sucked. This card was not good. This was a bad card. It allowed you once during your turn, as long as you had a full bench, as long as you had 6 Pokemon in play, to heal 10 damage from each of your Pokemon. It saw basically no play because healing wasn't quite good enough, and it was just a little bit awkward. Nobody really wanted it, nobody really played it, and again, this was printed every year from 2013 to 2022. It was not a good card. And then Gardevoir came around. And the problem was that a lot of people looked at this Gardevoir deck and they were like, we need a counter stadium, and we're always going to have a full bench. And basically that 10 damage healing actually made a big difference, especially bearing in mind that Gardevoir's got that ability that puts energy from the discard pile onto your Pokemon at the cost of 2 damage counters, but with this it would be at the cost of 1 damage counter, at least for the first energy, and that was a big deal. And Gardevoir players started playing this, and the price of this card absolutely skyrocketed. Like ridiculous, silly, just dumb skyrocketing. It was not a good thing. Nobody wanted this card to be this expensive. And again, this is all just my theory based on what we've seen before, but my theory basically is that Pokemon looked at this and went, okay, well, we can't do this anymore, can we? Because this card actually has turned out to be good, and if it's been good in one deck, it could be good in other decks in the future. And we saw from Tropical Beach and how quickly that was taken away, because you've got to bear in mind these promos are planned a long time and printed a long time in advance. By the time Pokemon realized how good Tropical Beach was in 2011, it may well have been too late to stop it for 2012. But they only did it for 2 years, they got rid of it. That makes sense. It seems like the same thing has happened here. They looked at this and they went, you know what? This has ended up being too good. Get rid of it. We can't have this anymore. So they've given us this new card. And this new card, they've clearly tried to make this as bad as possible. And I think they might have succeeded, because this card is terrible, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely terrible. Now, it reduces the retreat cost of each Psyduck in play by 1. That's it. That's all it does. If you're not playing a Psyduck deck, it's garbage. There is still an outside chance that one day, maybe, just maybe, Psyduck becomes actually good. Could that be a thing? I think there's at least a chance that one day we get a good Psyduck or a good Golduck, and then that kind of ends up parlaying itself into this actually seeing play. That would be hilarious. Remember, we do have the one from Pokemon card 151 coming that says, during your opponent's next turn, treat every coin flip they flip as tails. That could be kind of fun. As it stands at the moment, we don't have a good Golduck. There is no Golduck in the format at the moment that's really seeing a huge amount of play. They're just not good. All right? There is no good Golduck. Nobody's playing Golduck. But then you do have to ask the question, what if there's a good Golduck in the future? And what if this is actually, if you're playing for Psyduck and you want to get Psyduck out of the active early doors to have a different Pokemon starting, maybe? I don't think it's going to be likely, but you never know, ladies and gentlemen. You never know. I love that Pokemon have done this. It's like they made an unplayable card in Champions Festival, and the player base as a whole went, you know what? We can use that. And Pokemon went, right, we are going to make the least playable card you've ever seen. See if you can make something with this. Are we going to be able to? Probably not in the short term, ladies and gentlemen. But in the long term, anything's possible. As a side note, they did reveal a bunch of competitor merch, or competitor swag is probably more appropriate, which I love it. It looks absolutely brilliant. And the World Champion merch, which is going to be given to exactly one person. It won't be me, I'm casting, not playing, but somebody's going to win this, and they're going to be very, very happy indeed. And don't sleep on this, right? The fact that Pokemon have changed the Worlds promo for the first time in a decade is a very, very, very big deal, and I absolutely love it. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.